Hello, welcome to my 3D Amuser channel. This is the second part of a sci-fi prop video series. To recap from the last chapter, we learned how to create an image plane in Maya and to create a base mesh from it. And we also learned some basic modeling techniques, and we also created some kind of design from it. Let's get started, and I'm going to show you what we had from the last session. I didn't get a chance to work on it from last night, so I'm just going to show the next part what we're gonna do with this. So I'm just blocking the big shapes first. I'm not worried about my details. I'm just making sure I'm hitting 3 to make sure the mesh is smooth and it's getting enough highlights. You know, if you see, the silhouette is pretty good, and we can start modeling from this here point. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to think about several other ideas how to make my design more unique. The only part of the basic functionality behind Grenade is there is a knob where you pull it and you throw it, and it just explodes. And there's also something called safety pin in a grenade, and if you turn it on, you can't pull the knob. But since it's a sci-fi prop, so we're going to create a button as well. So if you're giving the prop to someone, if you press on it, it's going to turn red. So it means it doesn't going to explode because it's in safety. Once you press on its screen, it's ready to explode. Then you can throw it. So this is my story began my modeling. So let's go from here to whatever we want to do. So I'm also thinking to make it really sci-fi. I want to make some kind of like a glass as well. Some kind of chemical inside. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to hide this. So now I could see the proportions inside. So I'm going to go on my top view. So to see where exactly my mesh will end. So right there, let's see where it is. Yeah, that sounds good. So what I'm going to do, this is just a base mesh to see. This is a base mesh to see the chemical inside like a tube. From here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert, hold on V, snap at the middle, and I'm going to do I'm going to do 6 pieces. Let's see how it looks like. Actually, this kind of looks pretty cool, so I'm gonna go with 6, and I'm gonna bring back, I'm just gonna combine everything. So what we have here was just the base, so I'm not going to add the detail set. I want to see how it's gonna look like, and okay, so this is, I'm gonna call it glass. I'm gonna throw on some material here, a different Pong material here. Now that's a base. I'm just gonna hide. So I'm just cleaning up my group. So I'm gonna name it so I know here. So I'm gonna send a new material for the glass, so I'm gonna hit a Pong. I'm going to the transparency. There you go. So now we have something like that. So we could see inside. You could also make the transparency even better. So something like that. Once we add details, it's going to pick up the details really well inside as well. Let's see what we could. Okay, let's add the safety button somewhere here. But I'm gonna do it when we do it in the when we divide this mesh into us like a high subdivision mesh. Even here, it's kind of really smooth. So I'm gonna make a sharp edge there to pick the lights. Also, you can make it even interesting by getting rid of the odd edges, and we could have something like that. So now it's gonna have some pretty good highlights. So I kind of like the top part. So let's make the bottom part even interesting. Okay, that adds well. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna separate the top part and the bottom part. So this is my top part. Bottom part. Top part. Okay, so now if I smooth it, you could see. So I'm gonna do this. We'll be working on this piece, so don't worry about the stretching, because we will add designs, make some designs at the higher subdivisions. So this is already looking pretty good. So now we can design something on the top. So what's my thinking is there is something on the top where you pull it to take it out and you just throw it. So what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna duplicate this piece. I'm gonna extract the inside piece and delete the other off. So I have a new geo. This is another technique I use really often to create a kind of like a not. Okay, I'm just gonna reverse this. So if we go here, I'm gonna pull a little bit inside. So it's kind of like a lip, but it doesn't show up that much. So I'm gonna add some more loops on the sides. So now if you see, voila, it's kind of getting there. So now I could pull this in a little bit in. So you could see I'm using the same pieces again and again. So it's easier that way to work from it, because it's gonna retain the shape as well. So I just pull it in. So now if I smooth on the top, now if you see, so now we could have different materials here. So we could play with it. So if okay, let's make this a little bit interesting by adding some more. So there you go. So now it kind of has like some cool details there. So this is gonna pick up really good lights for sure. So I'm gonna make this a little bit up, so it kind of bumps here and there. So you could see it's gonna catch eyelets really good. So I'm gonna do this. I'm just using extrude tool, guys, so it's nothing like fancy here. It's just basic extrude tool on creating shapes which looks sci-fi. We're gonna add like a lot of panel lines and a lot of details in higher subdivisions. We're just doing the base modeling now. That's what most important to do. So now we could use the trigger. For the trigger, we could do something like different material. So I'm gonna create a different shape inside. I'll just pull it in a little bit. Okay, now if I go here, if I smooth everything, boom, there you go. So now we could use a trigger. So the good way to come up with some design would be triggers, or you could say pulling triggers. How about something like soda can opener? You know, something you pull it. So that's a design I'm going to go with, and let's make it sci-fi. So this is the reference I'm going to use, guys. So I'm going to put it on my other side, and I know what the shape looks like. So I'm gonna go on my top view, and I'm going to create. It kind of looks like so. That's how it looks like, guys. Let me show you the reference. Do you see? So this is the shape I'm going to make at the top, and I make a little bit sci-fi. And if you see, we could make as one piece or two pieces. It's up to us. But I rather do it as different pieces, so it would be easier to put different materials on it. That's the idea behind it. But what I'm going to do to make this a little bit interesting, I'm going to select both. I'm going to go on my top view and isolate both of the things. And what I'm literally moving my points kind of close to it. I'm not worried about it doesn't have to be super awesome, but I'm trying to make the thickness all the way around. Okay, right there. Just maintaining the thickness all the way around, and I'm going to do this piece. So now if I smooth it, it's gonna maintain the shape as okay. If I smooth it right there, it kind of like lifted out. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add some here, add some loops right there. So now if I smooth it, you could see it went across. Or else the other way to go about it is just put a bevel. Boom, there you go. The only problem with doing this is I encounter a problem, so I'm just gonna fix it. I know exactly what's happening. So if I go on this, so the thickness between this and this, everything should be the same all across, or else you're gonna encounter problems when you smooth it. Even when you're adding edge loops, it's gonna have some problems. So I'm trying to maintain thickness. This is called supporting loops. Supporting loops are most important. So when you subdivide, your mesh, it doesn't give any problems. I'm just using world mode to move around the vertices to see the thickness. You can also use object mode, so it will go around the axis. I'll show you. If you go to component, see, it goes based on your normals. So we are maintaining the thickness all the way across. It kind of went big. Right there, yeah. So now when I smooth it, this mesh will give nice result. And I'm gonna add a loop at the bottom as well. So now if you see, this smooths pretty good. So I'm gonna also add a loop there. So now if you see, we could make this a little bit. So now if I smooth this, it's gonna have those things on the top. So now what I could do, I could add a loop, kind of like a loop. And you could merge it down. So if I smooth it, boom, there you go. I have my mesh. So we can add that now. So we're going to add a trigger to pull something up. Let's see our reference. So we have something like a holder, so we could hold it and twist it around. So I'm gonna make the same exact design, but I'm gonna make it look a little bit sci-fi. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the cube. So I'm gonna put it here. Or also you could also use something called create polygon tool. What I'm gonna do, so I snap it to the grid, so it snaps on the grid. So I'm making sure my measurements are right to a certain extent, and maybe like, yeah, maybe like that. Okay, I kind of messed it up at the bottom. Okay, so now something like this. If you go and see the mesh here, so I want to split this into two. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert a loop equally. So there you go, we have something like that. So why I have the cube is because I want to make sure I'm maintaining my okay, there you go. So now I have something like that. So now what I'm going to do is create some shapes in here. So that is different from this one because I want to make something different. And so there you go. So if I smooth it, okay, there you go. That's what I wanted. Now we could take it to the top and we could work with this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to snap it exactly in the middle right there. So this is how it works. So the bigger one goes at the other side. I'm going to control the freeze the transformations, and I'm going to say 180. I'm going to check the time now. I'm planning to do 20 minutes. So 20 minutes right at the mark, guys. So this is my part 2, and I'm going to do the third video and look it up. So I'm not going to do any modeling apart from here. I'm just going to start from here. So don't worry about it. So I want to make this project show everything from start to scratch. Since it's a small project, I could do that. Sometimes in a big project, I don't want to do all the things. So watch out for the next tutorial, and we will try to finish the base modeling. Then we can start detailing. That's a really interesting part and the best part. And if you really like this tutorial, please like, subscribe, and comment below. And if you have any question regarding this tutorial, please write me at 3damuser@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Until then, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.